Oh, Super Mario 64, one of the most beloved games of all time. It was very revolutionary since it was a fully 3D platforming game, never seen before, and was launch title for the Nintendo 64. So many people have talked about how amazing this game is, and I can see where they're coming from. It's definitely a lot of fun, but a lot of those people are blinded by nostalgia, and they really don't notice as many problems as there actually are. This is ReadyDude Retrospects, where we changed the name from ReadyDude Reviews because, come on, these games are not even from the 2000s. You really can't call them reviews. And today we will be covering Super Mario 64, not by an adult who has played through it through his entire childhood, but by someone who's barely a teenager who has no nostalgia for this game at all. Okay, well, I start moving around. The first thing that I notice is just how clunky the controls are. I mean, I know it's 1996, it's one of the first fully 3D games ever, and you had to control it with this horrible abomination, but still, you'd think they'd get something not that bad, but almost every part of the controls feels really just mediocre at best. You can't really tell here, but Mario's weight is extreme. If you're moving in one direction, you're going to be stuck with it, especially when you're midair. And it just doesn't feel right. I can't turn around quickly. It's just not that fun. And it makes platforming in this game, it's a platforming game, really hard, even when it shouldn't be at all. After doing the key 2 skip just to save time, I enter the castle and jump straight into Bomb Battlefield. Well, the level is definitely open, full of exploration. It's a 3D game. Of course they're going to do this to us, and that's great and all, but there's something I noticed right from the start. Even though this is a 3D game with 3D models, so many things are actually sprites. Sure, the Goombas are models, but the coins are sprites, the bomb-bombs are sprites, heck, the trees are sprites. Not all of it is 3D, and there's actually way less 3D than the game wants you to think. I know I said the controls are terrible before, but man, here it just isn't good. I tried to get onto the stake so I can grab on it and open up the gate with the chain chomp, but it just couldn't work. I could never be accurate, and it took longer than it really should have to actually open up the gates. And this starts showing throughout the entire game. These controls really ruin it sometimes. That was the only star I got in Bomb Battlefield, so I decided to go to the second level, Whomp's Fortress. So with that, I entered the level, and it really shows here just how very not good the way the pacing is in this game. Sure, it wants you to go to the top of the fortress, and yeah, the fact that you can collect other stars instead is totally great. But this entire way the level is designed, combined with the really bad controls and physics, leads to insane cuts that are not even fun to do. Like, you're gonna skip everything, and okay, speedruns, whatever, lol, but you're not even playing any level at all. These are just too easy. If there was maybe one major skip per level, that would be fine. But in Whomp's Fortress, I found many skips just for 1 star, and I even found a skip for another star. Things were becoming a bit too much for me, so I decided to go to the secret aquarium to cool off and take a nice swim while collecting red coins, and I realized just how bad the swimming is in this game. Wow, it is just not good. It's just as clunky as all the other controls. I think the problem is just turning around. It's super slow, and you sometimes turn too far, even when you do turn in the direction you want to with accuracy. Mario actually still moves forward when he turns, which can lead to really weird situations later on in the next level, Jolly Roger Bay. Speak of the devil, well, here it is, Jolly Roger Bay, an entirely water-themed stage, and oh boy, them swimming physics, am I right? So not only do I have to deal with this for a full level, but the 2 stars I did I did specifically to point out the fact that this game uses the same idea 2 times for the same level. 2 stars, the first one in the ship and another one in the cave, are based around choosing 4 chests in a very specific order. You get one right, it gives you a bubble, or if you're in the cave, it just has a number. And if you get one wrong, well, you're shocked and you lose health. The problem is this is completely random guessing. Nothing here clues you what order to open the chests in. And not only that, seriously though, reusing the same idea twice in the same level? Kind of ridiculous. But it can't be all about negatives. Now for a positive, and wowee, is Peach's Secret Slide so much fun. The music is great, the level design has a short slide where you try to get the fastest time is definitely a good idea. And the slide physics are, oh my gosh, they're actually good. It's amazing! I played this one for a bit trying to get both stars. There's the one for just completing the slide normally, and there's the second one that you get under 21 seconds. And that one's actually kind of difficult and had a lot of fun trying to get it. This is actually one of my favorite levels. We open up the big star door and we see a portrait of Peach. We run towards it, but it turns to Bowser and the floor drops beneath us. This is Bowser in the Dark World, and there are 2 other levels besides it like this. These are the Bowser levels, and these are my favorite levels in the game. I mean, wow, they're really good. Their music is great, and they're fully linear levels. I don't know, I just really like linear levels, even in a fully 3D Mario game. And, man, there aren't nearly as many problems with the Bowser levels as there are in many other levels in the game. I think if Super Mario 64 had more linear levels, I don't know, like Galaxy or something, it could have been way better, but it's okay if there aren't. But what we do have here is still very great. I love these levels, and there are skips in a couple of them, but they don't feel super insane. Like, there isn't a crazy amount of them. There might only be 1 or 2. They're few and far between. They don't completely skip the levels. Just a small part in case you want to go a bit faster. And man, these levels are really well designed. The Bowser fights, on the other hand, look, I just don't like the Bowser fights all that much. As simplistic as they are, they can also be kind of infuriating. And not because it's hard, it feels more unfair. You see, the gimmick is grabbing Bowser by the tail and throwing him into bombs. Easy, right? Well, as you keep spinning him, it's almost impossible to aim. And when you do, you learn something else. These fights are way too short. The first 2 fights end after only 1 throw. Come on! And the third fight ends after 3, but even that can be done in like maybe 2 minutes. They're only a very small part of the game. I'm totally okay with them being very simple. And there you have it, folks, a retrospective of a game that was done by somebody who had never played the game in the first place up until recent times. Therefore, I have no nostalgia, and my opinions are definitely different from many of the people who've talked about this game. Speaking of which, these are my opinions, so if you disagree, that's totally okay. And if YouTube will let you, share your comments down below. If maybe you have different opinions, you have better points. You might change my mind about some things mentioned in this video. Also, I only really went through the first area, even skipped Big Boo's haunt, but a lot of the things I mentioned are very general. So, for example, I only showed Bowser in the Dark World, but most of my points there are mentioning all the Bowser levels in the game, all 3 of them. And a lot of issues, for example, the fact that half of everything in the game is like a sprite instead of an actual 3D model, also proves this point across every stage. So I'm not shaming on just the early stages here. A lot of these stages have the problem, and I was just using the early stages as an example. So that's gonna be ending this ReadyDude Retrospects. Hope you enjoyed. I definitely think I've improved over my last couple of videos in this series, back when it was called ReadyDude Reviews. But goodbye, peoples!